Hello everybody and welcome back to Quest 64. I'm back with live commentary today, and we are going to be getting the hell out of the blue cave. Last video I did the majority of the entire dungeon. The last thing we have to do is to climb this hill in order to get to Crystal Valley, and this is just after that maze-like area. Now what's very interesting about this last little bit of the dungeon here is that it's featuring more enemies that you can see in Cull Hazard Cave. So I don't know why they decided to split it up that way, putting the very powerful blue cave enemies in the beginning of the video, and then when you get to this section they throw a bunch of weak enemies at you that you fought in the last major dungeon. Or, I guess 2 dungeons ago if you count Windward Forest's dungeon. And at this point we're pretty leveled up from where we were at that point, so they're very easy to defeat, and it frankly just feels like a waste of time, but it would probably take me longer to run away. So there's a couple of scarecrows in here, and you may run into some blood gels along the way. And there are actually some of the enemies from the blue cave, so there's a really wacky sort of arrangement in this area. Again, I don't know what they were thinking, but I guess it's okay to recycle enemies. This game isn't actually as bad for that as some games are, which is actually something I never really thought about before as a positive to this game, although certain enemies are recolored, which is very, very common in a lot of games. I've never really paid too much attention to the enemy design though. I've been very mutual towards it every time I've played this game. It suits me just fine, and there is a pretty good variety. So we should be coming up to the exit, of course. We have that shining bit of light as a significance that we are now in Crystal Valley, which looks more like Candyland and sounds more like Candyland. It's got a very weird kind of soundtrack going on in here. But anyways, we're going to go towards Epona's house and we get to meet her. However, we want to go behind this big crystal mound, I guess. And there's a tiny little crack where you can grab a spirit element. I'm going to put my point into rock, because when you get 24 elements into rock, you are able to use avalanche. Now, avalanche, if you don't know, is essentially, in my mind, the game-breaking spell. From this point on, you can essentially spam avalanche and it will kill everything, and the game will just become so incredibly easy for you. Of course, I'm not going to do that, because that's no fun, but I will definitely use it a little bit, probably for boss battles to speed them up. And here is Epona, and if you need to save after going through Blue Cave and you are playing the game normally, you can talk to Chappie the Owl. You are past Blue Cave now. Did the crossing make you tired? There's not much you can do except to stop here for a rest. Thank you. I will do that. And now I will speak to this great and wise sage with the biggest nose I think I have ever seen in my life. So you are Brian. Your reputation grows with every victory. My name is Epona. You have the magic jewel, do you not? But only a true magician will be able to use it. It's true, the Eltale book has been stolen. 1,000 years ago, a great war broke out over possession of the book. But no one knew the truth behind the book's power. No one must ever open the Eltale book. If its power is released, it will be the end of all we know. That is why the Eltale book must be recovered and returned to its safekeeping in the monastery. Starting from the stone circle in the innermost room, go to the Isle of Skye in Lulsh Kildree. There, you will find the precious stone of the water spirit. Ask the sorceress Colleen to let you borrow it. Okay, well, I guess that's gonna be our next destination, but I think that's still very vague and foggy, in my opinion, but I guess that she was useful, and it's really cool because she's got a teleporter in her house. and the teleporter magically brings you onto a magical ship. This is when the game starts to get a little bit weird. Let's talk to the ship captain. Hey, where did you blow in from? It takes a plucky devil to sneak board my pirate ship. A magician, huh? These days the seas are strange, waves as tall as the mast, tossing ships around like corks. How are we pirates going to make a living? We heard there's a sorceress who performs water magic over on the Isle of Skye. Since you are a magician, maybe you can help us get her to calm the sea. Welcome aboard. You can rest in a cabin till we make port. Well, you're surprisingly generous for a pirate. I will do just that. And like the last boat ride we were on, you will need to sleep in order to be able to get to the next area. The last ship when we were going to Larpool, all you had to do was go into the door and then come back out and you were in the next area, but I think in this area you actually do have to sleep. So if you want to sleep, you want to talk to this guy here. And this is the guest chambers, so to speak. But we want to loot a little bit first. So this chest has a dragon's potion, which is a new item, and also an extremely awesome item. It's MP full recovery, so that can be very useful if you're in a tough spot, in my opinion. And then of course we also have a spirit here to collect, so kind of a tough call at this point because all of my elements are at a really good level, but I think it's probably beneficial to get wind powered up a bit more. I have to decide if I'm going to bother putting any more points into rock, because once you get avalanche, there's not really a point unless you want avalanche to become stronger, but we will demonstrate its awesome power later. Hey there, shorty, if you want to lie down, go right ahead. Look at all these nice people allowing us to rest and save our game. Thank you. I should go back up and see if we have arrived at the Isle of Skye. And it looks like we have. So this is where the water sorceress lives, and there are also a butt ton of spirits here. I have no idea why there are so many, but there's one over here just as you get off the ship. There is another spirit here over by the fence. There's also monsters in this area. Although not many, when I was here the first time doing my little practice run, I think I only got into one enemy encounter. And these enemies are actually the ones that I failed to run into when we were in Windward Forest. So again, these enemies are being reused. But there's not really much need for enemy encounters, because this is kind of the unique area in the game. You're simply here to get the gem, the water jewel, and then I don't recall you ever really coming back here, so that's kind of interesting, I guess. And then there's another spirit behind her house. Let's put that one into water, and then we'll be able to get a fourth one in just a few minutes. Let's go inside the home, though, and let's meet the water sorceress. And this is Colleen. I'm the sorceress of Wolsh Kildry. With that staff, you must be from the monastery. So, you can't be a friend of this greedy pirate. He makes me boil every time I see him. He blames me for the rough water on the lake and says it was my fault that the water jewel was stolen. But the wretch who stole it is the one who riles the waves. They say she tossed the water jewel from the stone circle deep into the lake. I'm afraid my magic can't reach it. When you fight her, try to save your magic for healing. You will need it. So, I love how she says, oh, when you go and fight her and get the jewel back, because I'm useless and worthless, make sure that you don't die. Again, implying that I have to do all of the work. But I guess that is my destiny, and of course this is the ship captain once again. It seems like the lake is riled up because a priceless treasure was stolen from it. It's a fantastic gemstone filled with the power of the water. What a weak sorceress she is. How can we believe the thief got to the lake bottom? Only a powerful magician could break the barrier and go that deep. well, I guess this other person who stole the gem is a powerful magician as well, or at least they are a powerful magician now that they've stolen the gem. We're not able to access this door yet. We are only able to access it once we go and we get the water jewel back. So I could go and do this now, but I don't know if I want to. We actually have to fight a boss. But the video's 11 minutes in, and after that we have to go and talk to Colleen, and it's a lot of dialogue, so I think I'll save that for later. We've got more flying enemies, pixies, that are using water attacks, and there's one more enemy type in this area, I do believe. Although I can't remember the name of it, that you might be able to run into. But this is kind of nice, because if you feel like you do need a little bit of preparation before moving onwards, then you can certainly grind a little bit with the enemies that they give you, because they seem pretty square with your level, or pretty even with your level. And you can rest in the boat if you need to, so that's really nice. As you can see here, they are actually kind of kicking my butt. I'm actually going to use an item. Because why not? I've got like a ton of items. I can use some bread. It's more of these flying enemies, which are really annoying because I can never seem to quite hit them the way that I want to, or get out as much damage as I want to, but that's okay. It might be worth fighting a few of them. There's also a spirit over here in this corner, and let's put that one into rock and make it an even 25 before we continue on. So this is a pretty good video for progress. We finally got to meet Epona after hearing so much about her. We got a butt-ton of practically free spirits. We didn't really have to work for them. And now we are going to be on our way to getting our third jewel, when in fact we didn't really get our wind jade too long ago, so we're really making a lot of very solid progress. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I hope that I'll see you next time.